The kingdom of Aureveld is bright and full of life. King Arian, a majestic lion with a mane like flowing fire, stands atop Pride Rock with his queen and newborn son, Kael. The animals below cheer. It's a day of joy. But in the shadows, Varkor, Arian's jealous brother, watches bitterly. He once hoped to rule. Now, Kael stands in his way. That night, under the eclipse moon, Varkor meets with a dark spirit from the Forbidden Valley. He makes a pact. Give me the power to rule. I'll pay the price. The next day, while the Pride is out hunting, the sky turns dark. Varkor strikes with an army of shadow beasts. A fierce battle erupts. Arian roars to defend his family. He fights bravely but is outnumbered. In one final act, he unleashes his flame roar, sacrificing himself to destroy the beasts and save his cub. The land burns. The Pride scatters. Queen Leora, wounded, carries baby Kael away into exile. As the dust settles, Varkor stands where Arian once stood. The land darkens. The kingdom has fallen. But far away, a cub's eyes open. The flame still lives. After the war, Aureveld has become a field of ashes. Smoke spreads in every direction, and the animals hide in fear and silence. Varkor now sits on the throne, his body filled with power, but his eyes are drowned in darkness. He trains shadow, beasts amidst the ashen trees, demanding blind obedience from them. Any animals that speak out are captured and made to vanish. Fear reigns throughout the forest, but in the ashes, some ancient creatures whisper, the flame has not been extinguished, it will return. On the other side, Queen Leora and young Kael are hiding in a desolate valley. Leora is wounded, but the time has come to tell her son the truth. One night, under the moonlight, she tells Kael, your father gave his life to save you. You are the flame he left behind. Kael is still young and afraid, but a spark of determination slowly begins to shine in his eyes. Far away, an old wise baboon hears the stirrings of their arrival in the jungle. The time is drawing near. The first spark of hope has ignited in the ashes. Years pass. Kael has grown into a curious and strong young lion, though the pain of his father's sacrifice still lingers. Queen Leora teaches him the old ways about courage, honor, and the power of the flame roar. But Kael wants more. He wants to fight back. One day, while exploring beyond the valley, Kael meets an old baboon named Nazu, keeper of ancient knowledge. Nazu reveals the truth. Kael is destined to challenge Varkor and restore the kingdom. But he must first earn the flame within. That night, Kael dreams of his father's voice. The flame is not given, it is earned. Kael's journey begins. Kael follows Nazu deep into the flame caverns, an ancient place hidden beneath the mountains, glowing with flickers of eternal fire. Nazu explains, only those with a pure heart can survive the trials. To awaken the true flame roar, you must face what burns inside you. Inside the caverns, Kael is tested. He faces illusions of fear, his father falling again, his mother crying out for help, and himself running away. But he stands firm. In the heart of the cave, he meets the spirit of King Arian. You are more than my son, Arian says. You are the fire's heir. As Kael roars, the flames rise around him, not to burn, but to crown him. His eyes now glow with a new power. The flame roar is awakening. Empowered by the awakening of the flame roar, Kael returns from the caverns with Nazu. But he no longer walks like a cub. His stride is stronger. His eyes burn with purpose. In a hidden grove, Nazu introduces Kael to a small group of animals who still believe in the old king. Tired, hunted, and hiding, they have waited for a sign. Now they see it in Kael. Among them is Mira, a brave young cheetah with unmatched speed, and Thorn, a gruff old warthog who once served King Aryan. Kael stands before them and speaks. This is no longer about revenge. It's about restoring what was stolen from all of us. That night, the group begins planning their first act of rebellion, a rescue mission to free captured animals from Varkor's prison camps. The flame has found its first army. As the sun dips below the horizon, Kael and his new allies creep through the shadows toward one of Varkor's prison camps. The cages are full of weak, frightened animals, elders, cubs, even injured warriors. Thorn studies the guard patterns. Mira races silently between trees and Kael watches, his heart pounding. At the perfect moment, Kael lets out a low growl. The signal. The team strikes. Mira blurs past the guards, unlocking cages. Thorn barrels through the gates like thunder. Kael leaps into battle, fighting with newfound strength and the spark of his father's flame. The sky turns orange as chaos erupts, but hope rises too. As the prisoners flee into the trees, Kael lets out his first true flame roar. Fire ignites the horizon. The jungle hears it. The resistance has begun. In the dark fortress of Blackridge, Varkor sits on the throne carved from bones, staring into a pool of shadow. He sees Kael's roar, feels the fire spreading. The forbidden spirit hisses beside him, cloaked in smoke. The air awakens. The flame stirs again. Varkor slams his paw down. His mask, made of iron and carved in the image of a lion skull, gleams in the dim light. Let him come, he growls. But the flame won't survive what I've become. He orders the creation of a new army. Creatures forged from shadow and fire, bound in chains of dark magic. Far away, Kael dreams of a masked lion with no eyes and a voice full of rage. He wakes with a jolt. The real battle is coming. The morning after the prison break, the forest is quiet. Smoke still lingers in the trees. Kael stands before the rescued animals, many injured, many scared. This is just the beginning, he says, his voice steady. We will not hide anymore. Nazu leads a sacred ritual beneath the flame tree, a colossal tree with glowing roots. Each animal steps forward, placing a paw, hoof, or wing on the fire-lit bark, swearing loyalty to the flame. Thorn offers his old warrior spear, Mira gives her mother's pendant, and Kael, he carves his father's name into the trunk. For Aryan, for the kingdom. As the wind picks up, embers swirl around them. A bond is sealed. The resistance is no longer a whisper. As Kael trains under the flame tree, thunder rumbles across the sky, though no storm is near. Nazu looks up, his eyes wide. That's not thunder, he whispers. High above, the clouds twist into a spiral, glowing with dark red light. A giant mark, a burning scar, appears in the sky. It is Varkor's warning. Across the land, animals see it and panic. The fire of hope Kael sparked now flickers in fear. But Kael steps forward, his gaze firm. Let him threaten, he says. We will answer with strength, not silence. That night, Kael climbs the highest rock and lets out a powerful flame roar, one that challenges the heavens. His fire dances against the red mark in the sky. The war has been declared. Deep within the ancient caverns of flame, Kael follows Nazu into the glowing tunnels of fire and memory. The walls are carved with the history of Lion King's past. At the heart of the cavern, an old relic burns quietly, Arian's mane clasp still warm with flickering flame. Nazu places it in Kael's paw. "Your father's courage flows in you," he says softly. As Kael touches it, visions flash, Arian roaring in battle, lifting Kael as a cub, standing on Pride Rock with fire in his heart. Kael stumbles back, eyes wide. "I saw him." "You heard the echoes?" Nazu nods. "But the flame answers only to the worthy." Kael clenches the relic. "Then I'll become worthy." As they leave behind them, the flame on the walls pulses brighter. The spirit of Arian watches on. As Kael trains harder than ever, his roars growing stronger, a strange darkness begins to seep into his dreams. He finds himself in a mirror-like void, facing himself. But the reflection is twisted, its mane scorched black, its eyes burning red. It growls, "You can't protect them. You'll burn them." Kael wakes in panic. Nazu senses the shift. "Every flame casts a shadow," he warns, "and Varkor knows how to twist it." Mira comforts Kael, reminding him of who he truly is. "Your father's light. It's still inside you." But Kael now fears not only Varkor, but what he might become if the flame consumes him. As the resistance prepares for their next move, Kael looks into the night sky, whispering, "I won't become the monster he wants me to be." Word spreads that a legendary blacksmith gorilla named Grum resides in the Iron Spine Mountains. Kael, Nazu, Mira, and Thorn journey there, hoping Grum can forge a weapon strong enough to fight Varkor, but Grum refuses. Flame can't be fought with steel. It must be mastered. Kael pleads, "Then teach me." Grum tests Kael in brutal trials, facing falling stone, fire, and shadow illusions. At the end, Kael stands wounded but unwavering. Grum nods, impressed. "Maybe, just maybe you're not your father's shadow, you're his fire." Grum agrees to forge a flame brand, a weapon bound to Kael's spirit. As hammer strikes anvil under molten light, a new symbol is born. The air has a weapon. The war has its spark. Far across the desert, Queen Leora, still carrying the weight of exile, finds refuge in the hidden valley of Tyrelin. Her heart heavy with the loss of Arian, she has kept Kael's name alive in her words to the animals she's protected. But she knows the time for hiding is over. Word reaches her of Kael's return and his rising power. With renewed hope, she sets out to find him. As she crosses the valley, the ground beneath her trembles. Varkor's shadow beasts are near. Leora roars fiercely, calling for the allies she's gathered over the years. The queen is ready to reclaim her kingdom. But even as her roar echoes across the land, she feels the pull of the past. Will she be able to leave behind the queen she once was to become the warrior the kingdom needs? The battle lines are drawn as Kael and his allies prepare for the final confrontation with Varkor. The flame brand, now forged, glows brightly beside him. But Kael's heart is torn. He knows the war will not only decide the fate of the kingdom, but also test who he truly is. As they march toward the heart of the Forbidden Valley, the earth trembles with the power of Varkor's dark forces. The skies above twist and swirl, an omen of the destruction to come. Kael pauses and looks back at his friends, including Nazu, Mira, and Thorn. "This is it," he says. "We fight not just for a kingdom, but for what it stands for." Suddenly, a shadow looms before them. Varkor, standing tall, his eyes burning with hatred. "You would challenge me, boy?" he growls. Kael steps forward, gripping his flame brand tightly. I will challenge you, Varkor, for my father, for my people, and for the flame that burns within me. The air is thick with tension as Kael and Varkor stand face to face on the jagged rocks of the Forbidden Valley. The wind howls around them, a foreboding sign of the battle ahead. Varkor's shadow beasts gather, their eyes glowing like embers in the dark. Your father's flame was a lie, Varkor snarls, his voice echoing off the valley walls. And you will fall like he did. Kael's eyes burn with the fire of his ancestors. You can never extinguish the flame inside me, he roars, his voice shaking the very earth beneath them. He charges, the flame brand crackling with power. The clash is violent, the ground shaking with each strike. Kael's determination is unmatched, but Varkor's dark power is overwhelming. As Kael falters, Varkor moves in for the kill, but in a final act of defiance, Kael unleashes his own flame roar, a fierce blaze that engulfs everything in its path. The valley trembles as the flames consume the shadows, and Varkor is thrown back. The darkness begins to recede. Kael stands victorious but wounded. His roar echoes through the valley, a roar of triumph, of pain, and of rebirth. As the dust settles and the flames die down, the valley is silent. Kael stands, breathing heavily, his body battered but unbroken. His flame brand, now glowing softly, is a symbol of everything he has fought for. Varkor's dark forces are gone, vanquished by Kael's final act of defiance. Kael looks to the sky, his heart heavy with the weight of his father's legacy. I've done it, but at what cost? He whispers to himself. Suddenly a roar echoes from behind him. It's Leora. The queen, having returned with her allies, stands tall and proud. You've done more than just defeat Varkor, Kael, she says, walking to him. You've restored the flame. With her return, the kingdom begins to heal. The land, once scarred, begins to flourish again. Animals gather to Kael, pledging their loyalty to the true king. Kael stands beside his mother, the weight of leadership heavy, but rightfully his. The flame of his father's legacy burns brightly within him. The kingdom of Araveld is reborn. With Varkor defeated and the land healing, Kael takes his place as king. The once barren fields of Araveld now burst with life, and the animals are united under his rule. Kael stands on the edge of Pride Rock, looking over the kingdom he has inherited. But despite the peace, a lingering unease remains. In the distance, strange lights flicker in the Forbidden Valley, signs of something stirring. Kael's heart quickens. The battle may be over, he thinks, but the war is far from finished. Leora, standing beside him, speaks softly. The flame you carry is not just a weapon, Kael. It is a beacon for all who wish to challenge the light. It will never be easy. As the sun rises, Kael's gaze hardens with resolve. Then let them come. I will protect this kingdom. I will protect the flame. The dawn breaks over Araveld, but the shadow of a new challenge looms large. A sense of foreboding fills the air as Kael prepares for whatever threat lurks in the Forbidden Valley. The strange lights have grown brighter, pulsing with energy. His allies are ready, but even they sense the unease that grips the land. We don't know what awaits us, Kael admits, his voice steady but heavy. But whatever it is, we face it together. Nazu, Mira, Thorn, and the others stand beside him, resolute. As they approach the valley, the winds pick up, swirling around them with unnatural force. The once quiet land now feels like it's holding its breath. Suddenly, a powerful roar echoes from within the valley, and the ground trembles beneath their feet. The storm is coming. Kael grips the flame brand tightly. "Prepare yourselves," he orders. The storm's eye is near, and the true battle is about to begin. Inside the valley, something ancient stirs. A dark presence that has been waiting for the right moment to rise again. The wind howls as Kael and his allies step deeper into the Forbidden Valley. The once still air now crackles with dark energy. The ground beneath their paws feels alive, pulsing with a sinister rhythm. Shadows loom and the temperature drops. Suddenly, a deep, rumbling voice echoes from the darkness. "You dare enter my domain, young lion?" The voice is ancient, filled with malice. Kael steps forward, flamebrand raised. "I am Kael, son of Aryan. I will not let you bring darkness upon my kingdom." The darkness stirs, and from the shadows, a towering figure emerges. The dark spirit once sealed away by the ancient kings is free again. His form is cloaked in swirling darkness, with eyes that burn like molten lava. His power is immense, and the very land trembles at his presence. "I have waited centuries for this moment," the dark spirit growls. "Your flame is nothing compared to the eternal darkness I will bring." He raises his hand, summoning shadows to strike. Kael's heart pounds, but he stands his ground. "I carry the flame of my father and my kingdom. You will not extinguish it." He charges, his flame roaring, as he meets the dark force head-on. The earth trembles as Kael clashes with the dark spirit. His flame brand blazes fiercely, but the shadows of the dark spirit seem to absorb the light. The valley shakes with the power of their struggle, the battle between light and darkness playing out in the very air around them. Kael swings his sword, but the dark spirit moves with incredible speed, evading each strike with a mocking laugh. "Your flame is weak, Kael. It is no match for the void I command." Kael's breath is ragged, but his resolve never wavers. "I am not alone. My father's spirit lives within me. The flame of Oravel burns in my heart." He charges once, again the flame around his sword intensifying. This time the dark spirit doesn't dodge. The two forces collide in a burst of light and shadow, an explosion that shakes the valley to its core. The dark spirit stumbles, a crack in his form appearing. Kael seizes the moment, pushing forward with all his strength. The flame brand slices through the darkness, striking the dark spirit with a roar of fire. The spirit screams, the shadows around him starting to unravel. But as the darkness retreats, a cold, sinister laugh echoes from the depths. "This is not over, Kael. The darkness is eternal, and it will return." Kael stands tall, his body battered but not broken. "Then I will be ready," he says, his voice steady as he watches the fading shadows. The valley is still, the battle over. But Kael cannot shake the feeling of unease. He stands alone at the edge of the battlefield, staring at the fading shadows. The victory feels hollow, the words of the dark spirit echoing in his mind. The darkness is eternal, and it will return. His thoughts drift to his father, Aryan. The flame that once burned brightly within him, the strength that guided him, is now only a memory. Kael's heart aches with loss, but a fire ignites within him. He cannot let his father's legacy fade into darkness. The wind picks up, and with it, a distant whisper. It's faint at first, then clearer, a voice from the past. Kael turns, his senses heightened. "Kael!" The voice calls softly. It's the voice of Aryan. "You are not alone. The flame within you is stronger than you know. You must trust it. The shadows shift, and before Kael stands a vision of his father, his form glowing with the light of the flame roar. The vision speaks one final time. The battle is not yet won. The flame you carry is both a gift and a challenge. Beware the darkness that stirs below. Kael bows his head, a sense of clarity washing over him. He understands now. The journey ahead will be long, and the darkness will return. But he will carry the flame. He will honor his father's legacy. The days after the battle are quiet, but Kael cannot rest. The vision of his father lingers in his mind, and the words of the dark spirit continue to echo. The darkness is eternal. He feels the weight of this truth pressing down on him. Kael journeys to the ancient temple where his father had once trained, seeking guidance. The ruins are silent, the stones worn by time. As he steps into the temple, the air grows thick with a strange energy. His paws stir the dust, uncovering an ancient mural, faded but still visible. The mural depicts a lion of flame, standing tall against a shadowy figure, its eyes burning with malevolent power. The inscription beneath the image reads, "The flame shall rise and the shadow shall fall, but the shadow will return and only the flame will endure." Suddenly, Kael hears a whisper, faint but clear. "You are the flame," it says. "You must remember what has been forgotten." The ground trembles beneath him, and a passage opens in the stone. Kael steps forward, determined. The truth of the past is within reach, and he will uncover it, no matter the cost. The passage leads Kael deep into the heart of the temple, where ancient relics and inscriptions cover the walls. The air is thick with the scent of old stone and mystery. As he walks, the ground beneath his paws begins to glow faintly, illuminating a path carved into the stone floor. At the end of the passage, Kael finds a large chamber. In the center lies a stone pedestal, atop which rests a crystal, its core glowing with the same fiery light that once burned in his father's mane. Kael approaches cautiously, sensing the immense power within. The crystal pulses with energy as Kael reaches out. The moment his paw touches it, a surge of warmth flows through him, filling him with a sense of clarity and purpose. The crystal's light envelops him, and a vision appears before his eyes. In the vision, Kael sees his father, Arion, standing tall against the shadowy figure that had once threatened Aureveld. The battle is fierce, but Arion is not alone. The flame within him is stronger than the darkness, and together with his pride, they banish the shadows from the land. But then the vision shifts. Kael sees the shadow grow, spreading across the land once more. It's a warning, an omen that the darkness will return, stronger than ever. "You must forge your path, Kael," Arion's voice echoes. "The flame will guide you, but only you can. Choose the way." Kael stands still, his heart burning with the weight of the decision ahead. The flame inside him is strong, but it is up to him to carry it forward. The winds begin to shift. Kael stands at the edge of a cliff, gazing out over the land of Aureveld. The kingdom that once thrived is now a shadow of its former self, dark clouds swirling above. The storm that had been foretold is coming, and Kael feels its presence growing stronger each day. The flame roar within him burns brighter, but so does the fear of what is to come. He can no longer ignore the truth. The darkness is gathering, and it is only a matter of time before it returns. Kael gathers his closest allies, Mira the wise Chidi, Thorn the brave bear, and Leora, his mother. Together they journey to the heart of the Forbidden Valley, where the dark spirit's power is said to be strongest. Kael knows that to defeat the darkness, he must understand it, but he fears what he may find. The journey is treacherous. The valley is filled with strange, twisted creatures, remnants of the dark spirit's influence. Every step forward is a struggle against the overwhelming presence of the shadow. But Kael pushes forward, driven by his need to protect what remains of his kingdom and to honor his father's legacy. As they reach the valley's depths, Kael senses a dark presence, an ancient evil that stirs from its slumber. The storm is not just in the skies, it is rising from the very earth beneath them. The storm intensifies as Kael and his companions venture deeper into the Forbidden Valley. The very air crackles with dark energy, and the ground beneath them trembles with each step. The landscape has changed. Twisted trees and eerie, darkened skies stretch as far as the eye can see. There is no warmth here, only the cold of the shadow that grips the valley. Kael feels the weight of the journey, but his resolve only grows stronger. As they move forward, Mira speaks softly. Remember, Kael, the flame will guide you. Trust in it, even when the darkness tries to consume you. Suddenly, they come upon a massive, ancient structure hidden deep within the valley. It is a temple of old, built from black stone, its walls covered in carvings that seem to pulse with a sinister life. Kael steps forward, his heart pounding. He knows this is where the final confrontation will take place. Inside, the temple is cold and silent. The only sound is the soft echo of their footsteps. At the center of the chamber lies a dark, swirling vortex, a gateway to the heart of the darkness. Kael's flame roar flares to life, but it seems to flicker against the overwhelming presence of the shadow. The vortex pulses with power, and then a voice booms from within. "So, the flame has come to challenge me," the voice snarls. "You are nothing but a spark against the storm, Kael. You cannot defeat me." Kael stands tall, his eyes burning with determination. "I am the flame," he declares, "and the storm will be extinguished." With a roar, Kael charges toward the vortex, the final battle about to begin. The battle begins as Kael charges towards the swirling vortex, his flame roar bursting forth with an intensity never before seen. The ground trembles as the energy between Kael and the darkness clashes, sending shockwaves through the temple. Mira, Thorn, and Leora stand back, watching with awe and fear as their friend fights against the ancient evil. The voice from the vortex growls, "You are foolish, Kael. You cannot defeat me. I am the storm, and you are but a flicker in the dark." Kael grits his teeth, his body trembling with the power of the flame within him. "I am the flame," he roars again, his voice echoing through the temple. "And I will burn through this storm." The vortex spins faster, drawing Kael in, but he doesn't falter. With every step, the flame inside him grows stronger, blazing with the memory of his father's sacrifice. The storm tries to smother him, but Kael's determination is unwavering. At the heart of the vortex, a figure emerges, an ancient being of shadow and fire. It is the dark spirit, the one who has been manipulating the shadows for centuries. The figure's eyes burn with malevolent energy. Kael faces it, his flame roar now reaching its peak. "This ends now," he declares, as the flame in him intensifies, turning into a massive inferno. With one final roar, Kael releases the full power of the flame roar, enveloping the dark spirit in blinding light. The storm begins to break apart, the darkness dissipating like smoke in the wind. The figure of the dark spirit writhes, unable to withstand the power of Kael's flame. With a final thunderous roar, Kael's flame cuts through the heart of the darkness, banishing it from the world forever. The temple trembles, and the storm finally subsides. The land is quiet once more. Kael stands victorious, but he knows that the battle is not truly over. The flame within him still burns, and the journey ahead will be long. But for now, the darkness has been defeated, and the light of the flame shines brighter than ever. The storm has finally passed. The Forbidden Valley lies in ruins, but the land outside begins to heal. Kael stands at the edge of the valley, looking out over the kingdom of Aureveld. The sky, once dark and turbulent, is now clearing, revealing the first rays of sunlight in years. It is a new dawn. With the defeat of the dark spirit, the shadows that have plagued the kingdom for so long are fading. The land begins to come alive once more. The rivers flow freely again. The trees are beginning to bloom, and the animals are returning to their homes. The flame, which once burned within Kael, now burns within the land itself, rekindling life everywhere. Kael's heart swells with pride and relief, but there is still much to be done. The kingdom is broken, and the people have scattered. His father's legacy remains, but Kael knows he must now build a new future for Aureveld, one where the darkness will never return. He turns to his friends, Mira, Thorn, Leora, and the others, each of them exhausted but filled with hope. The battle is over, Kael says, but the journey is just beginning. The animals of the kingdom begin to gather, drawn by the light of the flame that burns within Kael. They come to him, not as subjects, but as a united force ready to rebuild. Together, they will restore Aureveld to its former glory. Kael raises, his head high, his mane glowing with the fire of the flame, and lets out a deep resonant roar. It echoes through the valley, a sound of triumph, hope, and renewal. The dawn of a new era is upon Aureveld. The land, still recovering from the destruction, is filled with the sounds of life returning. The animals gather around Kael, who stands before them, a symbol of hope and strength. His mane glows with the same fiery brilliance that once belonged to his father, King Arion. But Kael knows that the journey ahead is not easy. The kingdom is fractured, the pride scattered, and many of the animals are wary, unsure of what the future holds. Kael addresses them with a voice full of resolve. The flame that burns within me is not just for power, Kael says, his voice strong and clear. It is a promise to each of you, to my father, and to this land. A promise that I will rebuild Aureveld, and I will protect it from the darkness, no matter the cost. Mira, standing beside him, places a reassuring paw on his shoulder. You are not alone, Kael. We are with you, every step of the way. With renewed determination, Kael sets forth on his quest to unite the scattered animals of the kingdom. The path will be long, but Kael is ready. He knows that the flame's promise is more than just a legacy. It is a call to action, and he will answer. As Kael begins to move forward, the animals of Aureveld follow him, one by one. They walk through the valley, over hills and across rivers, uniting once more under the banner of the flame. The light of the flame shines brighter than ever, leading the way to a future of peace and prosperity. The journey to unite the kingdom has begun. Kael travels across the land, gathering animals from every corner of Aureveld. From the towering mountains to the deep forests, and from the endless plains to the shimmering lakes, the animals are drawn to the flame within him. Some are hesitant, others unsure, but Kael's determination never wavers. As Kael and his companions journey together, they encounter different challenges: treacherous terrains, wild storms, and lurking dangers from the Eeyar. Shadows that still linger in the land. But with each challenge, the animals grow stronger. They learn to trust one another and Kael's leadership proves unshakable. In the heart of the mountains, Kael meets a group of fierce eagles, their wings spread wide as they soar through the sky. Their leader, Eldrin, is a proud warrior, known for his sharp eyes and swift movements. He challenges Kael to prove himself. "You speak of the flame," Eldrin says, his voice like a gust of wind. "But it is not just the flame within you that will lead us. It is the strength of our unity." Kael faces Eldrin, his gaze steady. "Then let our unity be our strength," Kael responds, his voice calm but filled with conviction. The two battle, not with violence, but with skill and strategy. Kael, using his agility and intelligence, manages to outmaneuver Eldrin, proving that the flame within him burns not just with power, but with wisdom. Impressed, Eldrin pledges his support to Kael and the journey continues. Slowly but surely, the forces of Oraveld begin to unite. The flame, once a symbol of power, is now a beacon of hope for all who seek peace. The forces of Oraveld are united. The flame is burning brighter than ever, and Kael stands at the heart of it all. The final challenge is before him. Varkor, once a brother, now a shadow that threatens to engulf the kingdom he was born to protect. The darkness that has haunted Oraveld for so long is still alive, and Kael knows that only by facing it head-on will the kingdom truly be free. In the depths of the Forbidden Valley, Kael confronts Varkor. The two stand face to face, their eyes locked in a fierce battle of wills. Varkor's form is twisted, his once majestic lion's mane now dark and unruly, consumed by the power of the dark spirit. He is no longer the brother Kael once knew, but a creature of pure hatred. "You never understood," Varkor growls, his voice hollow. "The flame was never meant to save this land. It was meant to consume it. And now, it will burn everything." Kael steps forward, his mane glowing with the pure fire of his father's legacy. "The flame was never meant for destruction," Kael replies, his voice steady. "It is a force of renewal, of life, and it will never be yours to control." With a roar that shakes the earth, the two clash. The battle is fierce, both physically and spiritually, as Kael draws upon the full strength of the flame inside him. The sky burns with the intensity of their struggle, but Kael is unyielding. He taps into the deepest part of himself, the heart of the flame, and unleashes a final devastating roar. The ground shakes as the flame envelops Varkor, burning away the darkness that had consumed him. His twisted form collapses, and the valley falls silent. The darkness is gone. The land is free. Kael stands alone, the flame still burning brightly within him. The kingdom is reborn, and with it, a new era begins. Kael looks out over Oraveld, knowing that his father's legacy has been fulfilled, but also understanding that his own journey is just beginning. The flame will guide him, and he will protect it. For as long as it burns, the kingdom will live.